high school, I was introduced to these two girls named, let's say, Penny and Ann. The way we all connected was in the strangest way possible. They were looking at an air conditioner with foam around it. One of them said, "What the heck is that?" And I said with the straightest face possible, "A mushroom." It had them all dying of laughter. Weird, I know. But this is how it all happened. From then on, they'd invite me to hang out and we turned into a trio. However, me and Anne would hang out a lot on our own because we had the same interests. She liked drawing, writing, and making videos like I did, which made us brainstorm video ideas and we would record ourselves in the most cringiest way possible. But we had a lot of fun doing it. We had a really tight bond because of this. We had many adventures, the three of us. As the years went on, as we entered our junior year, we noticed Anne was acting a bit out of sorts. She opened up to Penny and I, saying that she felt left out because Penny and I were both involved with the marching band. I marched flute and she was in the color guard. We would have practice every day after school because of this. It took up a lot of our time. It was all we could talk about too. Anne felt she was the odd one out. So Penny and I stared at each other. I knew I couldn't offer her to join the marching band because she didn't know how to play an instrument. That's when a light bulb went off and I said to her, "Why don't you join the color guard? That way you can hang with us more often and you can join in on the band activities." Anne was thrilled and decided to try out for the color guard. She did, and of course she got in. But soon after, Penny and I wished we had never said that to her. Penny and I had one major thing in common. We all came from broken families, so it was easy for us to understand each other. I came from an abusive family. Penny came from a family that their parents were divorced and destructive towards each other. And Anne came from a family that only existed of one parent that seemed to favor one child over the other. Plus, her mother was never around half the time. Anne and her twin sister Annie didn't even know where she was at. So we saw each other as family. Penny was constantly there when I needed to escape from my house. Anne was always just a phone call away when I needed cheering up. They were both there for me when I was going through my breakup with Robert. If you want more on this story, check out my Heartbreaks Volume 1. I go into great detail on that relationship here. They broke me out of my shell. There wasn't a moment in a single day where we didn't have contact with each other, or wasn't cheering on the other for whatever accomplishment they were facing. I loved them dearly. So what could have possibly went wrong? Things didn't go exactly as Penny and I planned once Anne joined the color guard. One thing about the band and color guard is that they didn't exactly get along. The band saw the girls in the color guard as desperate, trying too hard to pick up on the guys, and felt like they were above everyone else. Penny was neutral because she was on both sides of the fence. She played flute and knew the band side of things, but she chose to go with the color guard instead. So she kept the peace. However, Anne started to quickly catch on to this attitude. "God, Pinkley, the people in the band aren't taking anything seriously. You all joke around too much." Excuse me? Anne was getting a big head, soon also outing Penny herself, who was the section leader of the color guard. Anne learned how to do triples, which is when you throw the flag in the air and it spins around 3 times. Apparently it's hard to catch, but she would brag about this to Penny all the time, making Penny annoyed. She'd vent to me about it during practice. We figured to just let it go, since Anne wasn't the type to be told you were getting upset with her. She'd blow it way out of proportion. As we were on break, Penny and I were waiting for Anne to come eat with us. She never came. I looked over to find her sitting with these 2 girls who had a bad reputation in the band. They were both in the color guard. Penny even grunted when she realized it. Let's say these girls were named Elise and Gina. Elise was loud, constantly stating how she was better than everyone else, was very her way or the highway, and desperate to get all the guys' attention in the band. Gina was more quiet and reserved, but she didn't keep her opinion to herself. She would trash talk anyone that walked past her. "She probably just wants to get to know the people in the guard better," Penny grunted, collecting her lunch. "Wanna go over and join them?" Her face read the exact opposite of what she said, though. "Nah, I'm gonna go join my band friends. I'd rather choke on my sandwich than buddy up to those 2. Weeks went by and Anne no longer joined the two of us for our lunch. She put distance between herself and us. She could no longer hang out after school, her attitude completely changed, and she was always with these other two girls. Penny and I felt completely replaced. She'd vent about how Anne was showing off in guard practice often, how she'd often ignore her for Gina and Elise, leaving Gina and Elise to constantly glare us down whenever they'd see us even try to talk to Anne. Anne would even avoid me like she was embarrassed to talk to me. Her homeroom was right across from mine, and we'd usually walk together to our first class. She'd run off as soon as the bell would ring. After a few weeks of this, Penny and I thought about confronting her. We didn't want all our friendships to end, especially over something we had no idea about. I was putting my flute in the band bus when I turned to find Anne standing behind me. We need to talk. She was nearly in tears. Yeah, we really do need to talk now. As I was about to start talking, Elise comes running in, trying to figure out what was going on. She shoved right past me in front of Anne. Pissed, I said, "You weren't included in this conversation, you itch." Only I didn't say itch. I grabbed Anne by the arm and brought her to a private hallway where Penny met with us. Right away, Penny says, "I don't have a problem with anyone," backing up against the wall to make me seem like the bad guy. Penny was the type that hated confrontation. She didn't want to do it, and rolled her eyes. "I know you have a problem too. What's up with you lately? You didn't even give those two a chance, Pinkley." I'd been in the band for 2 years now, going on 3. I already know what's up with those girls. I'm just not interested. I don't care if you hang around with them, but now you're acting like them. What are you talking about? You're being so stuck up. I think someone crammed a flag up your butt. I don't want us to stop being friends. Then why are you avoiding us? Because ever since I joined, it felt like you guys were starting to hate me. We just didn't like your attitude. We still waited for you every lunch break. We asked you to hang, but you always rejected us. Let's fix it then. Everyone was in tears, and we decided to fix it, but the hurt was still there, and so were Elise and Gina. Time went on, and Anne got better at hanging out with both groups of friends. However, there was still a major disconnect. Seeing as how Penny and I really cherished our friendship with Anne, we constantly looked through it, treating things as if they were normal, even though they weren't. As the months went on, though, and we approached our senior year, we noticed Elise and Gina's presence in Anne's life was slowly starting to fade. She was coming around more focused on us, and it finally felt like the trio was back together. Yet the attitude Anne picked up from Elise and Gina never subsided. Prom was coming around, and a boy that Anne was interested in for the longest time finally asked her out, then asked her to prom. They were dating, and they seemed so happy. It was nice to see Anne finally find someone to make her smile. That is, until the drama started, and you guessed it, Gina and Elise were again present, and the drama that began was between Anne and me over her boyfriend, Ronnie. Anne and I were at the point where we both got accepted to the same college and decided we were moving in together in Pennsylvania once high school was over. It was hard, especially for Anne, who just got into that new relationship with Ronnie. Penny's mom kept warning me. "Tell Anne you need your space when you're moving together. She's not completely the person she used to be, you know?" Penny stopped coming around us much, leaving Anne and I to hang with our other friends till our departure to Pennsylvania. Anne called me and asked me to stay over her house one night. She was crying and upset. It was about Ronnie. Apparently, he wouldn't answer her text messages, wouldn't hang out with her much, wouldn't invite her to do anything, just all around not there. She asked me to try to text him and hang out with him to see if I could find out anything wrong. As soon as I texted him asking if he wanted to watch season 2 of Vampire Night at my house, he responded instantly saying, "Heck yes, I'll buy some pizza and soda." Immediately, Anne started to break down crying, saying he never did anything like that for her. My stomach was in knots. I was scared she was going to pin me as his new love interest, but she begged me to do this for her. So I told him, okay, and he came over my house, where the drama was so big that even Anne's sister Annie got into it along with Gina and Elise. The end of this story will be coming in part 2. Drop a like below if you want to hear more of the story. Have a similar story or falling out with a best friend that you weren't expecting? Tell me in the comments. It might help some others who are deeply hurt by losing someone so close to them as well. And don't forget to subscribe. It really helps me out and it pumps out more content for you guys. So if you like my stories and such about Disney and Universal, as well as my personal stories, go ahead and subscribe for more. But for now, I hope you enjoyed and see you soon. Bye bye!